All right, we are live. This is You Got Danita with Booty Bands, and every single Wednesday we do a live interview with our Booty Band members. This is a Booty Band Elite where we are, after you go through your original Booty Band workouts, you're going to be getting live workouts that you can follow a routine and have accountability. And this is Chelsea, and Chelsea has been with us for how long, Chelsea?
Um, a year and 4 months, I think.
Oh, wow. She has it nailed down.
Yeah.
A year and 4 months. That's awesome. So, Chelsea, we're going to want to know a little bit more about you, how many kids you have, husband, your life. Tell us, tell us a little bit about yourself and what really your goals were when you signed up for Booty Bands.
Okay, so I have three kids. One is 9, 4, and almost 2. My husband and I have been married almost 6 years. Um, and let's see, when I got started a year and 4 months ago. It was 8 months after my third was born. Um, How I got started, I just saw it on Facebook. I canceled my gym membership like when I was pregnant with my third, and I just fell into fast food. I had another kid, I was busy, I didn't have time for myself. And so the fast food came and I didn't want to work out. Then when I saw Booty Bands on Facebook, I was like, I could do this. I've done it before. I was a gym rat. I mean, this can be something that I could do at home. So that's how I got started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And so you have three kids, and do you have like a sit down job? Or are you a stay at home mom?
Nope, I'm a stay-at-home mom. Yeah.
Okay. And so you were looking for something that you could do from home because obviously being at a gym isn't really going to work because you've got three kids, right? So,
No, yeah. And I know that they have daycare sometimes, but one of my kids has anxiety, so I just rather not. I just rather keep him comfortable at home. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, today our topic is, and I'm going to show it on the screen really quick for all of you guys. The topic is how to put yourself first and still feel okay about it. A lot of us start to kind of have that feeling of guilt that kind of comes onto us as we feel like we have to constantly be nurturers. And so I love this topic today. And Chelsea's going to walk us through how this topic really, really speaks to her, as where she went through an experience in her life where she kind of had that like guilt and that like feeling that she just has to continue give her everything that she has to her kids, her husband, her job, everything else. But she realized that was not going to go very fast anywhere. He really needed to put herself first. So tell us about your postpartum. Tell us about how even taking a shower was difficult for you. And
Yeah.
just kind of walk us through how you started to, what it was like and how you've been able to switch that.
Okay, so in 2015, after I had my second born, I had pretty bad postpartum depression. Like you said, taking a shower is just hard for me. So eventually, I had to just flip the switch somehow. So what I started to do was opening my curtains every morning, and that helped. Then making my bed every morning, that helped. Putting my workout clothes on, that helped. Then working out, actually working out, and getting those endorphins going, that natural antidepressant that I desperately needed. And sometimes I would just cry through my workouts because I was choosing me, and it just felt so empowering because I had put everyone before me. You know, just having children is so demanding, and showing up for everybody else is just demanding. But I had to show up for me so that I can show up for them better.
Mhm. So
So
when you were doing the workouts, did you have in your mind that it had to be an hour, or did you just say 15 minutes, or how did you really like kind of start merging that more into your day?
yeah, if I could dedicate 15 minutes, then that was an accomplishment for me. Because sometimes all I had was 15 minutes, and to me that was enough self-love that I needed to nurture to get to like the 45-minute workout. If I could just start small, then I would progress. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I hear it all the time. I speak to women on a daily basis, and I hear that, so many women have a struggle of putting themselves first. It just seems that we're naturally born with just being nurturers, that we just want to take care of our parents, our kids, our husbands, and everything else, and we start really getting this sense of being overwhelmed that kind of just cripples us in a way. And so it sounds like you just kind of started just by going in this routine, opening the curtains, making your bed, starting off by just doing, a short workout, and then kind of progressing it from there where it turned into a habit for you.
Yeah, it is a habit now. Yeah.
And what have you noticed now in your body that you've been consistent? Because I could definitely say I see a big difference with your body.
Yes.
What have you been able to kind of see, mind, body, life? What are your transformations been like?
I have a positive outlook on life. I talk more positive about myself. I don't talk in a negative tone to myself anymore. When I look in the mirror, I say loving things out loud. Even though, like, if something isn't, when you're going through the transformation, it is frustrating because you do see the things that you want to change. But, yeah, I just had to say the positive things and see me as beautiful. And, as I said those things, then my body followed as well. And I just kept consistent with my daily habit. And everything just shifted, and I shifted, and everything around me shifted, really.
Just by the self-talk. Have you ever heard that quote or that phrase before where it said, uh, your thoughts become your actions become you, something along those lines?
Yeah, and it's so true. It
Mhm.
is. Yeah, because I mean, my body, just with the positive talk, using booty bands, doing the meal stuff,
Mhm.
and just showing up for myself, it just all of a sudden I just changed, and I liked who I am. I just love it all. It's great.
You guys can actually see Chelsea's before and after photo. If you follow us on Instagram, it's under Booty Bands Official, and you'll actually be able to see her before and after photo where she's been able to really start to shrink, not just like her waist, but like her back and her sides. Like her entire waistline looks so much thinner and tighter, really a lot tighter. And then also her booty. Her booty has got this kind of more lifted, round, more fuller look, and it just looks like she's starting to kind of get more of a physique rather than like kind of like that softer, skinnier look that when people end up doing just a lot of cardio and they don't incorporate resistance, whether that is resistant bands or weights, it ends up kind of making your body just kind of go into this like kind of really not lack of figure, I guess you could say. But you can tell that your figure is starting to really blossom by using the resistance, which is really good. Do you use weights when you use your booty band?
I do now. So when I first started booty bands, I just wanted to learn the form correctly.
Awesome.
And then I wanted to add my next level, and then I added weights. So I think learning the form was really important first.
When you learned that form, did you hear me in the video talk a lot about the mind muscle connection?
Yes. And when I feel like my mind is not connecting with my muscle now, I actually get mad. Like, I'll throw my weight because I know that I could do it. I just have to focus and
Mhm.
make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and isn't it cool because you can actually start to really feel if your body is in the right form or not, determining if you can actually feel that muscle working.
Yes. Yes. It's
Awesome.
incredible. And if
Awesome.
you're doing the form wrong, then you could really get hurt too. So that's really important.
Yep, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. And that's probably one of the biggest things that I didn't want to just provide videos for booty bands where I wasn't talking in it, because I feel that there's so many trainers out there that are not talking. And I feel like
Yeah.
there's so many mistakes that can be made if you're not really guiding or instructing a client or a member to really kind of walk through this. And so I love that you started with no work, no weight with your bands. You just started with the bands. You listened to your body. You started to focus in on your glutes, and you could really start to connect with your glutes. And
Yeah.
from there, then Chelsea started adding more weight. And that's what I recommend to all the listeners that are watching right now. Very important. If you are starting to feel like you're plateauing with your booty band, and maybe you've had your booty band for whether it be a year or maybe just a few weeks or months or whatever, I highly recommend that you follow the workouts, because they're going to start to challenge you with now weights. You can absolutely do this in same workouts, but now add weights to them. And so that's what the Elite program does. That's, you can click somewhere in this video somewhere. If you join the Booty Bands Elite program, you'll see that that is the step up to the beginner workouts. The Elite program, I'll be walking you through exactly how to do weights with your booty bands, so that way you get faster results and that figure you start to really see developing as well. So great job, Chelsea, on adding weights with your booty bands, because I think so many members just continuing just to only do the bands, but you'll see so much more results if you just add some weights with the bands.
Yeah, exactly. And, it's just starting from beginner to advanced, just like you talk about in the videos. So, and you got to just be patient.
Yeah, absolutely. I think patience is a huge one. I think what ends up happening, and we're kind of in this weird, day and age where so many people are getting so impatient with their bodies that what they're doing is they're actually just doing a bunch of injections, plastic surgery, doing all sorts of stuff just to kind of be like, I just want these results right now. What ends up happening, and I don't know if you've noticed, but if a girl gets plastic implants, let's say in her butt, she's going to be missing all of the leg definition. And I'm talking about you're going to be getting thinner inner thighs. Your quads are going to starting to get more sculpted. Your hamstrings, the back of your legs are going to start to kind of build up with your glutes. And so you're going to have these beautiful, sexy legs that are not going to be bulky. They're just going to be very figure and add and enhance to your booty. And so I've been seeing all of these huge fitness stars that are coming out with these ginormous booties, but yet their legs look like little twigs. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
that doesn't, I mean, to each his own, maybe that's your choice, but keep in mind as you're doing the booty bands, it's not just necessarily how you look. A lot of it is how you feel. And so, Chelsea, how do you feel when you're putting yourself first, when you're doing a 15-minute workout, when you're there and you're really taking that time for yourself? What does that do for you mentally?
Mentally, it makes me happy. It makes me feel empowered. It makes me feel like I'm standing up for myself. Me feel beautiful, and I don't know, I just love it. I'm addicted to working out, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And just feeling good.
The endorphins, right? Probably the endorphins that you're addicted to.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is. And all it takes, I think one of the biggest things I'm noticing for any members that are listening right now, and you're just I fall in and out of a routine, and I just feel like I can't really get myself to follow something. I'm kind of, I start something, I stop something, I start something, I stop something. I hear that all the time. And if you are one of those, take it from Chelsea and myself. What it is realize that this is a lifelong transformation.
Yeah.
Do not think that you can just start and stop something and that you're going to keep your results. I'm telling you right here, right now, you have to fall in love with taking care of yourself. And what that means is habit. Consistency. And it doesn't mean that you have to be spending hours long in the gym or hours long doing these workouts. Doesn't mean that you have to be doing these crazy intensified cardio routines that's out there. You don't need to be doing HIIT every single day of your life. You can be doing strength training from your own home, where you're lying on the ground, doing some mermaids, doing some bridges, doing some hip thrusts, using your child for some weight, using your backpack as some weight, whatever you use, you'll be able to start to kind of find that consistency, that habit habit, that routine, and that is what builds into the rest of your life, where you're finding yourself stronger from the inside out. And that's what really kind of creates the empowerment and the, I'm doing something for me rather than always for someone else. So we just obviously have been on a roll, Chelt, and there's been a lot of viewers that have come on. And so let's go ahead and just tell the viewers that are just recently coming on what our topic is about. I just posted it on the screen right now. It's how to put yourself first and really feel okay about it. And Chelsea just walked through that she is a mother of 3. She has a husband, and she's having to take care of all these responsibilities. And there was a point in her life where she started to feel guilty for like going and taking a shower, because she was like, oh, all hell is going to break loose if I leave and not give them every single ounce of my time. Now, of course, as a mother, you have to make sure that your kid is not falling off the bed or falling off a chair or something. You have to be obviously very attentive. But Chelsea, what are some ways that you have put yourself first to make sure that you can still feel like a really good mom?
Put myself first to make sure I'm a good mom.
Do you ever incorporate your kids into the workouts? How can you make sure they feel still safe, but meanwhile still take care of you?
So I'll just turn on the video on my TV and take out my yoga mat. I have 2 yoga mats, and they'll be on one and I'll be on the other. They'll be trying to do it, and they just think it's fun. When my youngest was a baby, I would carry him in the carrier on me and do squats with him or any of the workouts. And now I have all 4 bands, so they will grab a band and do it too. They just think it's fun. They're fun colors. So I just let them do it, or I'll work out while they nap.
Mm-hmm.
Really, so that, especially now that I incorporate weights, I don't really want them around the weights. So during nap time is for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one.
Tell me a little bit about your diet. There's a lot of members on here that will say, I'm doing really good with my workouts. I feel like I'm pretty good in that department, but what I'm mostly struggling with is my diet. So what are some things that you have changed in the last year to really give you this cool transformation? By the way, as you're telling us about your diet, I'm just going to post your before and after photos into the groups, just the private groups, so they'll be able to kind of see like your waist shrinking, your booty kind of changing as you're telling us about what's happened there. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So my diet, it has been, so when I first joined, I heard a live that you did talking about have a protein and vegetable at every meal. And you said, yes, every meal. That includes snacks. So for me, that was easy for me to remember, instead of following all these diets that I really had no idea what they were talking about, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew what a protein and a vegetable was. So that's where I started. I would have an egg with spinach, chicken with broccoli, hummus and carrots for a snack. That's basically where it all started. But now and also I only keep carbs in the morning, which you recommended because you burn it all day long. And I knew I would, having all my kids, that I would burn it. So I wasn't eating carbs at night, which made me feel amazing,
Yes.
actually, the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I did was cut out dairy, and I cut out peanut butter, which was weird for me because being a gym rat, you hear load up on all the peanut butter. But
Mm-hmm.
I cut it and my waist just went down like crazy. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
That's it.
So for those of you, the guys that are listening, so she started incorporating more protein and vegetables into her diet. She started cutting out dairy, and then she cut out PB. I am not the one that suggested cutting out PB. Was that
Yeah.
something that you just kind of thought on your own, or what was your thought there?
I just felt like I know there's natural peanut butter, but I just felt like it was overly processed. I kind of felt like it was sticky in my gut. Another thing that I started to get into is gut health. So I was just really listening to my body and how I don't know, it just felt better without it.
Yeah. I actually have heard that peanut butter is actually full of lectins, and lectins it kind of causes the leaky gut. So it's interesting that you kind of
Yeah.
bring that up right now. So what I have done is I've gone away from peanut butter and I've stuck to more almond butter. And something that's funny you say this, because I used to be the biggest peanut butter fanatic you could constantly even imagine. But when I did my bikini competition, I learned that doing macros, that your calories are not created equal. And I'll tell you why. So you have your carbohydrates and your protein, which are created equal because those equal 4 grams for 4 calories per gram. So those are created equal. However, fats is 9 calories per gram. So what that means is if you're really overdoing your fats, that's really where you're packing on some calories. Now, I do believe that you should instead of focusing on calorie reducing, I'm absolutely not a believer of calorie reducing. I believe more first in replacing the unhealthy fats with good fats first. And then eventually you can kind of start replacing, restricting, whatever you want to do. But the first thing is, Chelsea, you said you were eating fast food when you were having your 3 kids. You were really like crunching on time. And then it seems like you kind of started doing more meal prep. Is that kind of the switch there?
Yeah, I just started buying groceries. It's just simple as that. Not
Mhm.
going to Little Caesars all the time, grabbing
Mhm.
pizza, you know? Um, Making sure I had my protein and vegetables in my refrigerator, so I had no excuse at all. I had the stuff.
Mhm.
And yeah, I would meal prep some. But
Can you give us a recipe of one that you use all the time? Being a mother of 3 kids, there's got to be some sort of recipe that's like your absolute go-to that you just feel like you can just like make all the time. You probably eat it like every
yeah.
single day. What is it? And I'm going to go ahead and write it for the members right now.
Okay, it's so simple, but it's just 2 eggs
Well,
with
what is it first of all, so I can write the title?
uh it's I guess it would be a spinach omelet.
Okay.
So
How
it's
do you spell how do
basically
you spell omelet? Omelettte?
yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, go ahead and tell us what it is. 2 eggs.
2 eggs and a handful of spinach, Himalayan salt, and that's it.
Oh. All right. All right. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Here we go. This is Chelsea's like go-to, and you have this every single day or every single morning
It,
or
yeah, it's every single morning. Yep.
okay. Look how
I
simple
know.
this is.
It is so simple. And sometimes I'll have a side of avocado too.
Okay, we'll put that in there. Side of avocado.
Mhm.
Do you ever have any bread or anything like that?
Um I will occasionally have avocado toast. So I will add the toast to it. And on top of that, I'll put red pepper flakes. Um, and what else?
I think for whatever reason, red pepper flakes on avocado toast is so amazing.
It's amazing. And
Oh,
I do put butter on it too.
um, a good one, you know what, a good one would be, have you ever done, I think it's called, hold on, demi glaze or like balsamic vinaigrette on it?
No, but I'm going to try it.
Yeah, there's like, I think it might be like a tiny little bit of like demi glaze, or you could do like a little bit of some like balsamic with some olive oil. So
Yeah.
I've heard is pretty good as well. So everybody, I just wrote her little recipe up here, which is her go-to.
It's
Do you
so
have any
easy.
other go-tos that you can think of we can write up here?
I do make your booty balls actually.
Okay.
Um,
How do you do your booty balls? Because everyone does them a little bit different. So I'm going to write down
yeah,
the recipe.
I just grabbed everything out of my pantry, like chia seeds, ground flaxseed, almond butter, um, raw honey. I buy local honey because that
Mhm.
helps your allergies, actually.
It does. It
Yeah,
does.
and I buy the gluten-free rolled oats. What else is in it?
You
Oh,
feel
I
you feel
I
better on the gluten-free rolled oats?
I do. Yeah. I think it's just the gut thing.
It
I'm
is.
just really trying to pay attention to my gut right now.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since I have paid attention to my gut, my waist has gone down
Awesome.
significantly. Yeah.
Probably a lot less bloating too. Do you feel like you're a lot less bloated because you're paying attention to gut
Oh,
health?
yeah.
Okay.
And I'm eating a whole lot more greens than I ever used to.
Awesome. Yeah, the green, so the fiber, and here's a little secret. Well, hold on. Before I give you the secret, let's go ahead and pop up this booty ball. So far I've got, the last thing I wrote was the rolled oats. I've got the local honey, the almond butter, flaxseed, chia seed. What else do you have?
I put coconut flakes just for my little bit of sweet part, and pea protein.
Pea protein. I love that you're doing pea protein. Awesome. All right, go ahead and pop that up.
I'll add a dash of almond milk just to make the oats kind of expand overnight in the fridge.
Okay, awesome. I like it. There's a lot of different things that you guys can do with your booty balls. I know for some of you that if you're craving chocolate, I have been hearing that a lot of studies are coming out with cacao and how absolutely amazing it is for antioxidants to keep you not only like looking younger, but feeling younger. And it actually helps reverse like it makes you live so much longer. Like there was a woman that was having, I don't know if it was like, she was having this most ridiculous amount of cacao and she lived to be 120 years old.
Oh
And
my
so,
goodness.
yes. So there's a lot of studies that are coming out that if you add cacao to things, you're going to just, like the results are just amazing. So adding cacao will definitely help make it kind of have more of a chocolatey, fun flavor to it. Could even be just like cacao powder. Some other things that I've been doing is sometimes if I want coffee, I'll add a little coffee, just like she said, her almond milk. So I'll do like a tiny little bit of coffee. Other times that I'll do is I'll actually do raspberries and I'll blend those up first and then I'll throw in the other ingredients. And it kind of has like this raspberry chocolatey like flavor and it's just phenomenal. Some other things that I would kind of throw into her booty balls would be like cinnamon, because cinnamon is so great for anti-inflammatory purposes there. And you can also add like other little fun spices like coconut oil or, things like that. So anyways, thank you so much for that, Chelsea. Let's go into the secret now. So Chelsea mentioned that she is eating a lot more vegetables than she ever has. Now, I can tell you right now, here is a huge, huge tip. When you eat vegetables, you're essentially eating so much fiber. And that fiber is essentially canceling out what the carb is. So that's why people are saying it's like vegetable is pretty much like a free calorie because the fiber is canceling out the carb. So if you're eating that much fiber, can you imagine what it's doing to your waistline?
Yeah.
Girl, like I'm talking about if you've been wanting to find abs, if you were looking to have that like sexy, the tightest sculpted looking tummy you could possibly imagine, I'm telling you right now, get the vegetables in. Yeah. Like at least try to get at least 3. My goal every single day is try to get 3 vegetables in a meal. In 3 of my meals. So 3 vegetables in at least 3 of my meals. So what I'll do is I'll have 3 of my major meals and then I'll have 2 snacks. Maybe it's just a protein bar or a protein shake, but my other ones are not. Now here's a fun little thing too. They are now putting superfood greens into pea protein powder. There's one that I like. It's called Vega Vanilla and Greens. And I share it with anybody that ever asks what my favorite protein powder is. And I absolutely love it because it's like alfalfa and spinach and like something else that's crazy, but like you can't taste the greens. You can't. Mm-hmm. So it's not disgusting. You just taste amazingness. So phenomenal job, Chelsea, that you are eating so many more vegetables. It's definitely showing in your waistline, and it's because of all that fiber. So please make sure, women, that when you're looking at the back of things, see if there is fiber in what you're eating. If it's maybe like pasta, there's now vegetable pasta that's out there. There's lentil pasta, and there's tons more fiber in something like that than your traditional white enriched flour.
Yeah, that's right.
So we have a few comments that just pulled up. Denise said, I like to add matcha to my booty balls and switch up peppermint instead of the vanilla extract. Super cool. So I've actually had vanilla and peppermint like protein shakes, and they are so delicious. You can even do like chocolate and peppermint. A lot of fun things you can do there. So thank you, Denise, for that. We have Colleen says, I like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So what's a good replacement for that? Chelsea, what would you think would be a good replacement for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?
Almond butter and raw honey, maybe, or just some strawberry.
Oh, you kind of cut out a little bit. So
Yeah.
you were saying something about strawberries?
Yeah. So just strawberry jam. I mean, it doesn't, not maybe sugar free, cutting down on the sugar. So
a lot of it too, if you're having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you got 2 slices of bread. So can you imagine, like, if you really look at the ratio, so let's take for a moment the ratio of what your macros would be for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Your peanut butter is going to be a little bit protein, but it's going to be mostly fats. So, and then your jelly and your bread is going to be all the carbohydrates. So you're about 80% carbohydrates, or maybe 70%, and then you're about, 20% fats, and then maybe like 5% protein. So you're extremely low on the protein side, and you're extremely high in the carbohydrates. So what I would even do, Chelsea was talking, she's given a few recommendations. Of course, try to switch your peanut butter out for the almond butter. Even though it's a little bit more expensive, you'll find that it is a little bit healthier for you because it's just so much more better for your gut health. Other things that you could do is let's start taking out that bread. Now, if you can't if you've got 2 slices of bread, maybe you take it down to 1 slice of bread, but there's always a better option. For example, what if you ended up, Chelsea just made me think of this. What if you actually got raw strawberries and started dipping it in like your almond butter instead of having all of the bread with that? That would be a great little snack. And another thing that you could do is even make a protein shake out of this. So maybe instead of having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, maybe you make kind of like, have you ever heard of like the PB and jelly protein shakes?
Yes.
Yeah, so as simple as turning it into a protein shake would make it so your ratio of protein is so much more higher than your carbohydrates, and therefore you're going to start to see your waist shrinking, and meanwhile you're starting to really build that physique that all of us are looking to get, that bubblier booty, the smaller waist, the more toned arms, the more toned legs. We're really looking for that really feminine look, and so to do that, we really want to make sure that our protein is not 5%. We want our protein at least like hopefully 30, maybe 40, or maybe even 50% of the ratio of our meals.
Yeah. And that is a challenge for sure. Just you have to have the knowledge, which you provide us with. So thank you. Because I've been trying to get in my grams of protein appropriately every day. So, but it's just a learning process. Just have patience with yourself. Just learn it and it'll all come.
Absolutely. And I look at it as like this. There's so many diets that are out there that are just teaching you about restriction. Like, for example, this whole keto thing, like I didn't really want to say too much of it when it first came out because I didn't want a lot of people to fire back at me. But I think now it's safe to say that, do you really think you're going to go the rest of your entire life without carbohydrates?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but that just seems near impossible. So all of these restrictive diets where they teach you to like completely cut out carbs, I think is completely backwards. Like, why restrict so much of your life where instead you could be the person that runs your food rather than your food controlling you. You really need to learn the mastery. And the biggest thing here is your ratios. Start to really switch the unhealthy foods like Chelsea did from the fast food to start meal prepping. And then when you're meal prepping, start to learn the ratios of your protein, your carbs, and your fats. Like I'm gonna be honest, this whole food pyramid thing that like some like dairy company came out with,
Yeah.
it's for their own pockets, all right? They want you to eat a lot of bread and a lot of dairy. But I'm telling you now, Chelsea and I are still walking and breathing, and we haven't had dairy.
No. I don't like dairy.
We still exist. It's possible. Okay,
Yeah.
so I challenge you to get away from the typical food pyramid, to get away from like these typical companies that are just shoving a bunch of all of this crap down your throat. And a lot of it is empowerment of yourself, that wisdom, that knowledge within yourself. And when you start to see your own before and after photos changing, then you're golden. You're like, all right, this is the way. And then you have the rest of your entire life to not be constantly focusing on your diet and your life and your weight loss. Like that's like the last thing we need to worry about. There's so many other things in life, like where's your next trip is what your biggest focus should be.
Right.
And when you're on your trip, you know how to eat. Like I want you guys to be able to go to a restaurant and be like, I got it. I know what I'm going to eat today, and I'm going to have a small waist after this. Chelsea, could you say that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just recently went to Mexico, and I just, it's a lifestyle. It's not a diet for me anymore. Yeah.
So like let's say you go to Mexico and you're on this trip and you've got your hubby there and he's about ready to like, he's like, hey, can you have like a margarita with me? Like what? Like, do you restrict yourself? Like, I mean, tell me like what you do. Do you still live your life, or do you have like, do you balance it? What do you do there?
I just tell, I'll have one. I mean, I'll have two probably, but I have to remember that when I get back home, I'm not going to stay there. I need to go back to my lifestyle, and it's easy. It's easy because I've made it a lifestyle. Made it a habit.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I still live my life. I mean, on the weekends, football started, I'm going to have a beer or two, and I'm just going to let it go and continue with the lifestyle.
And I'm telling you, ladies, right here, right now, if you're watching, there are so many beliefs out there. For you to get a small waist, you think that you have to be eating nothing but chips and croutons. Like I'm telling you, starving yourself is the absolute worst way you could possibly imagine. Your best friend is going to be your muscle. Your muscle is what's going to really be burning that calories while you're sleeping. Get away from this excessive amount of cardio, unless if you really want to be like extremely light when somebody picks you up, then yeah, like starve yourself and weigh yourself on a scale. But that was back in the 80s. We're now living in a day and age where a sexy, strong looking female that looks like toned and tight and has these beautiful curves is very sexy. That's very feminine. And to do that, it's focusing on resistance training and making sure that you're balancing those protein, carbs, and fats. And I'm telling you, I eat 5 to 6 meals a day. I do not starve myself, but yet my waist is a 25-inch waist. And it really is about just what Chelsea said earlier. It's about starting to add more vegetables into your diet. We've always heard that. But I'm a nationally qualified bikini competitor, and it wasn't until I actually got my diet for Bikini Competitor and I was eating 3 meals with vegetables, I just learned to make them my best friends. And there's some vegetables I still don't touch to this day. I really don't like broccoli and cauliflower. So you know what? I just don't eat them. But you know what I really like? I love sweet peppers. I love asparagus. I love zucchini. I love squash. And I eat those. So find the ones that you like. Like you don't have to sit and eat the ones that you don't. And then I think the other thing is, what were we talking about? Yeah, live your life. Like you think that I don't have a glass of wine on my weekends? You're absolutely nuts. Of course I drink my wine. Of course. Like I just had a half of a donut with my boyfriend over here. But did you hear me? I had half of a donut because I know my limitations. I don't go binge like I used to. I used to have an eating disorder. I used to think it was calories in, calories out. I used to think that I had to starve myself to be able to have this look. And that's not. And really what Chelsea's saying is it's all about that moderation and kind of like living it as a lifestyle where have your beer, have your wine, have your little like party that you do, but don't go crazy with it, number one. And always always jump back into it and don't go into your self-sabotageal cycle and like negative thoughts. Chelsea, what are some of the self-talk you said? What do you wake up and tell yourself every day as far as your positive self-talk?
I say I am beautiful. I am worth it. I am strong. I am brave. I say so many things, I am protected. Just anything to lift me up and believe those things. Like, I have to actually believe it when I'm saying it. And that just has helped me tons.
Yeah.
Just tons. Yeah.
And even at the beginning, you might not believe them, but to say them still and get in that habit and routine. And then one day, all of a sudden, you feel it in your body.
Yeah. And that's when like I said, I would cry through my workouts, but I would also cry saying those things to myself in the mirror when I first started, because I didn't feel it. But I was having to make myself look at myself and say it. Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
It's such a mind thing. Yeah.
And probably what were some of like well, obviously we know what our negative self-talk is. Every single one of us has negative self-talk, especially when the comparison of the social media world is in front of us now, and you've got every beautiful woman that's airbrushed, and that she's got Photoshop all over her, and she's got all of these like different things that's now at our fingertips. I'm telling you guys, listen to this. I had an app. I was looking for an app to try to find out how to make my pictures lighter. Well, I ended up downloading an app that was free, by the way, and I ended up doing it. And then all of a sudden I realized that it was an app that you can actually make your waist smaller and your butt bigger by just doing this on your phone. Yeah. And it looked completely real. Like, I'm telling you, like, I did it on myself and I was like, holy cow, I look like I just lost 5 inches in my waist, but like it doesn't look Photoshop. So I'm telling you that like the stuff that you guys are seeing on the internet is, just beware. It's there's a lot of fake out there, and there's a lot of people that are just trying to say like, do this quick fix, like do this, and you're going to be thin tomorrow. Like, I'm telling you, and Chelsea's telling you, this is a lifelong journey to love yourself, take care of yourself, putting yourself first, saying these positive affirmations, and really get into your own head, which goes into your body, then goes into your life. You actually are living what you're saying, and it will completely transform. We have a lot of questions, Chelsea, and I feel so bad. Let's go through them really quick. We have Lucy that said, how do you do your shakes? Do you put more veggie or more fruit? How would you answer that?
I don't know. I think I balance them pretty well, actually, because I do the pea protein and stuff like that, but I'll add a strawberry or a blueberry or something, a berry. It's usually a berry, because they have antioxidants and a power food. So yeah.
That's my girl. She just nailed it right there. Now, if let's say you were having a protein shake like right before you were going to bed because you're really hungry at night, would you have the same protein shake that you had in the morning, which was, let's say the morning was full of fruit?
Actually, the one to go to bed would probably be more heavy, to be honest. It would have more bananas and stuff like that.
Before bed?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to cut you off right there. All right. So that's the one thing that we're not going to do.
Probably wrong.
So that's okay. Chelsea, you're still learning. And that's the beautiful part about this. And I'm glad we're even doing this interview, because I want you to also take something away from this. Yeah. So all of those that are listening, so Chelsea mentioned she has most of her carbohydrates at the beginning part of her day. And that also means your whole grains. That also means like your fruits. That also means like anything sugary. Okay. So anything that results into your body as sugar, it turns into energy, and that's where you're going to burn it off through the day. So Chelsea, what I would recommend, your protein shake that you have right before bed, try to have it as thin as possible. So what I would do is what I personally do is I just have almond milk, water, and protein powder, and I'll just drink that because I'm kind of raw and gross. But if you could, that's what I would recommend. The morning is where you really can go nuts with like fruit, veggies, peanut butters, and all that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
so
I don't eat past 6 o'clock.
Okay.
So it's, you know.
Okay, then that's different. Yeah, like if you're not eating past 6, then like, yeah, you're doing pretty good because you're still burning, those calories before you go to bed. Yeah. I sometimes eat up until 8. I shouldn't say that because you should be stopping at 6. But if you have to, I would recommend a protein shake and try to take out as much of the fruit as possible and keep the fruit at the beginning part of the day. We got another question here. Sean says, I use Ezekiel bread and honey that doesn't escalate the glycemic index. Awesome. So good, Sean. That's awesome. Ezekiel bread is absolutely amazing. It's got protein. It's got nuts, seeds. It's got all the nutritious value. And honey is also phenomenal for your gut health. I have 4 coworkers doing keto. And you know what? To each his own. If you're doing keto and you're seeing amazing results, I am so proud of you. Like I want people's success. Trust me. Like I want to see somebody do that. If keto is starting to get a little hard for you, well, let me show you how you can do it forever. Not keto forever, but like a type of diet that is knowledge-based, where you really are like understanding that. We have another one that says, I did keto for a while, and you know what? I lost so much hair. I deprived myself of things and lost hair as a result of it. Ooh. Yeah, see, that's why I just don't think replacing or restricting is. Replacing is better than restricting. Yeah. Denise said they stick to it when walk into the office with a Little Caesars box of pizza. Ooh, the thing with keto is they're not really focusing on clean food. A lot of keto people are eating like pizzas, cheeses, dairy, like they're really kind of doing the really unhealthy fats. And I'm noticing what happens is your inside, like your arteries and all that, are going to have to take the turn on that. The number one thing I suggest for all people that are looking to improve their diet is first start replacing the unhealthy things with the healthy things. And I'm talking about if you're drinking cow's milk, try some sort of nut milk. Oat milk, nut milk, almond milk, cashew milk, I don't care, choose your flavor, but try to get away from dairy. The next replacement would be if you're drinking a bunch of coffee and you're usually putting a ton of white sugar in it, what I would do is I would start to bring the white sugar down, maybe replace it with raw or maybe with honey or some other sort of sweetener. Eventually you can get to the point where you just put a tiny bit of almond milk in it and you're fine with it. That is kind of the journey, right?
And now I'm to black coffee.
There you go. But do you think you could have done that from just a quick switch? Yeah. Or do you think like you had to kind of slowly phase yourself into it, right?
Yes. I just this summer got to black coffee. So it took me a year to get here.
And I have so many people that will ask me, they'll be like, Danita, I am watching you meal prep and my taste buds could not do what you're making. And I'm going to be honest with you. My taste buds wouldn't have been able to do that a couple years ago either. But like Chelsea and I are saying, this is a journey. We're this age now. Can you imagine another 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years if we don't nail down our diet, if we don't nail down our workouts and our consistency and our habits now? Can you imagine, do you still want to be suffering in 20 more years where it's going to be harder because you're older?
Yeah.
Fun fact, and I say this all the time, but every woman needs to hear this. Every woman, I want this to be drilled inside every woman's head. I have osteoporosis that runs in my genetics. I was drinking tons of milk thinking that was going to make my bones stronger. Who do you think came out with the line of got milk and milk can make your bones stronger? Who do you think put that into the media? The milk company.
People. Yeah.
The milk company. So when I did my research, I ended up finding that resistance training and weightlifting is 10 times better than drinking a bunch of milk.
Hmm.
So the fact is, listen to this, every decade after the age of 30 years old, how old are you, Chelsea?
Almost 30.
Okay, so listen to this because you're almost 30. Every decade, so every 10 years after the age of 30, you're going to be losing 3 to 5% of your muscle mass.
Yeah.
Do you know what that means?
My gains aren't going to be the same.
Your gains are going to go down.
Yeah.
Your metabolism is going to go down because metabolism is linked with your muscle.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that. Your metabolism is what speeds your your muscle is what speeds your metabolism up.
Mm-hmm.
And so as you're building this beautiful physique right now, Chelsea, you're going to have to continue to keep that weights and the resistance training, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You're building that habit now, but can you imagine all of the girls that are not lifting weights right now?
I know. And so many people think when they find out that I'm lifting, they think that I'm bulking up. But I tell them, do I look bulk to you? Do I look No, I don't look like that at all.
I'm actually going to show you guys a picture for all of you guys that are on. I shared her picture in the Facebook group, so you guys can check them out. But here is a picture you guys can see of Chelsea. So you can see the before photo, and you can see she's obviously thicker. And look at her after photo. Like, talk about super small waist, and look at that booty, girl.
Yeah, I know.
Such phenomenal transformation. So anyways, if you guys want to follow Chelsea, her name is Chelsea Borders. Will you spell that for us, Chelsea? Oh wait, I guess we can see it on the screen.
Oh yeah, okay.
Is it just at and then CHELSEABORDERS, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you guys can follow Chelsea on Instagram. She has a lot of good healthy information and tips on there. So go give her a shout out. She would love to have you guys. If you guys have any questions,
Yeah.
this is the time to ask it right now. So if you've got a question for Chelsea, we're going to be on here for probably about 1 more minute, and then we're done because we took so much of Chelsea's time and she's got to run, right?
Yeah,
So,
I'm at soccer practice.
awesome. Let's see if we got some more questions. We have Colleen that says, I don't use white sugar in my coffee. What I use is a sugar-free syrup and a heavy cream. Ooh, okay. Let's talk about that really quick. So, Colleen, what I suggest is I always look at it like this. There's a swap to a better, but then there's a best solution. And ultimately, sugar-free syrup is kind of a fake sugar that's telling your brain that
it makes insulin.
Yes, it tells your brain to make the insulin, and what it does is it actually makes your taste buds really crave a lot of sweets. And so I personally suggest getting yourself off of anything that's artificial, and sugar-free syrup is very artificial. So I would try to stick to as raw as possible. Like, raw sugar is way better than a sugar-free syrup. That would be something I would recommend. And then as far as heavy cream, girl, no. Like, we got to definitely get away from heavy cream. Start going to more of a different substitute. Anything that's more plant-based would be way ideal than that.
I love oat milk. Oat milk is amazing.
I love it too. Yeah. So try oat milk. Just try it. Doesn't hurt you. Just try it. Lorraine says, I agree with Chelsea about not following a AKA diet. Instead, I follow a few rules: protein and veggies in every meal, carbs in the morning, about 8 to 10 in the morning. And then she says 8 to 10 plus glasses of water. It's very doable. I absolutely agree. Cool. All right. Well, I actually know that Chelsea has to run. So I just wanted to say, hey, thank you, Chelsea, for just jumping on this live. I had no idea she was doing this today. It was kind of a spontaneous thing. So thank you for your time. And again, you can always follow her on Instagram at Chelsea Borders. And if you've got any questions, you can always hit her up. And lots of love, you guys.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. This was great.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on. If you'd like to become an elite member, you can go ahead and click the link somewhere along here, and we will see you guys next Wednesday. We'll bring on another Booty Band member, and we'll do another interview. So lots of love, you guys.
Bye.
Bye, Chels.
See ya.
See ya.